Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star episode number 25 based on novel. So let's start. On an individual plane surface of the virtual universe within an elegant and quiet hall, there were 4 stone chairs on one side and 6 stone chairs on the other. The side with 4 stone chairs had Primal Chaos City Leader, Luo Feng, Darkness Master, and Pengong Master. While on the other side, the 6 representatives from Freedom Alliance were seated on the other 6 stone chairs. They were also the representatives from the 6 major factions. You cannot expect us, Freedom Alliance, to help you for nothing. Shahua Island Leader was the final representative from the 6 major factions to speak up. You must first give us a portion of the information of the inheritance. After we have seen and confirmed that you are not messing around with us, we will promise to join your human camp and help you deal with the United Forces camp. Dear all from Freedom Alliance, do not worry. Primal Chaos City Leader nodded. Now, I will be giving every one of you here a portion of information of the inheritance. All right. All right. From the Freedom Alliance, other than the 6 representatives who were seated inside the hall, over 400 Universe Masters waited outside. They could all hear the negotiation going on inside, and the moment they heard that they would be getting the information of the inheritance, everyone grew eager and excited. Now, let's begin. Primal Chaos City Leader laughed. Everyone, please look and study this carefully. Thereafter, through the virtual universe system, a message was sent out to over 400 Universe Masters. It contained a large amount of information. The moment these 400+ Universe Masters, who had been waiting eagerly while conversing with one another, received this message, everyone instantly quietened down to look through the information carefully. Even Shahua Island Master was so filled with curiosity that he had to take a look for himself. Although he was a Universe Supreme Master, he had achieved his breakthrough in a most aimless manner. He had no systematic experience to speak of. Luo Feng, Primal Chaos City Leader, Darkness Master, and Pengong Master locked eyes with one another and nodded. They were very confident. Especially Luo Feng. Because this was information on the inheritance he had prepared meticulously. To make it much simpler, many important key points were omitted. Yet no matter what, even after the simplification, and some slight adjustments made by Luo Feng, what the Universe Masters would get to see would definitely shock them. Because this information on the inheritance was so subversive, it would make this group of Universe Masters from the Freedom Alliance yearn for the next part of the information even more. Luo Feng was not worried that they would not want to help the humans in this war. There is a lot of information, Luo Feng relayed via voice transmission. Even if we are to go through the virtual universe to try to achieve the fastest rate of information transmission possible, and even if it was the speed of acceptance of a Universe Master, it would still take quite a while. Then we just have to wait for a little while longer, Primal Chaos City Leader said with a smile. We are inside Star Tower now. There is nothing the United Forces camp can do to us. Just wait for a while. Nothing will go wrong. When the Freedom Alliance joins forces with our camp, things will be so much easier for us. Pengong grinned so widely that his eyes curved into smiles, too. Yes. Darkness Master also nodded. The humans were all waiting. Time passed. A lofty, 9-story tower stood erected amidst the void space. Surrounding it were 11 massive palace true treasures of the United Force camp and the 6 palace true treasures of Freedom Alliance. A streak of light dashed across space to arrive at the same place. Suddenly, all eyes, be they of the human camp, which was earnestly waiting for the Freedom Alliance's final reply, or the United Forces camp, fell upon this streak of light. Mightily and speedily, this streak of light, which was traveling at a speed that far exceeded the speed of light, dashed into this void space and quickly came to a halt. This was a bizarre true treasure that had 8 legs and looked somewhat like the shape of an altar. This bizarre true treasure was the remarkable Ancestral God altar. Ancestral God altar was a treasure that the primal universe had bestowed upon the Ancestral God school. It might not have been a supreme true treasure and was, thus, non-aggressive, but in terms of its defensive ability alone, it was not inferior to any other supreme true treasure. Being a power that the primal universe was biased toward, the Ancestral God school had certainly received a wide variety of preferential treatment. Primal Chaos City Leader, we have arrived. We have arrived. Milky Way, we have arrived. We are a tad slower, but upon receiving the message you transmitted, we gathered and made our way here right away. Now, we have arrived. One after another, news was being transmitted through the virtual universe. Ha ha. Dear all from Ancestral God School, no one is late at all. The war has yet to truly begin. We are inside Star Tower now. Dear all from Ancestral God School, some of you should come into Star Tower, too. This will be better for our combined force. All right. No problem. Some universe masters of our Ancestral God School shall make their way into Star Tower now. Looking up into the void space, the Ancestral God altar could be seen flying toward Star Tower without a moment's pause. In an instant, the two closed up the distance between them. A side door of Star Tower opened while a side door from Ancestral God altar did likewise. Soon, a black ship was seen flying out of Ancestral God altar and into Star Tower. Inside the tower, Primal Chaos City Leader, Milky Way Horde Leader, Darkness Master, Pengong Master, Long Yang Master. The handful of great beings from Ancestral God School that had joined the human camp inside Star Tower all seemed to be very passionate. So, naturally, the humans welcomed them with a passion that matched theirs. Both sides seemed amicable, however. This Ancestral God School is quite the sly one. Pengong Master was smiling, but, in his heart, he was transmitting messages to Luo Feng, Primal Chaos City Leader, and a few others. They have already gained the part of the information of the inheritance that we have given out. They promised to join our side quite some time ago. Previously, we sent out the news to both the Freedom Alliance and the Ancestral God School at the same time. Over 400 Universe Masters of the Freedom Alliance have arrived, but the Ancestral God School only sent a couple dozen Universe Masters. And furthermore, they arrived much later. Obviously, they are delaying time on purpose. It's normal for them to delay time on purpose. Luo Feng replied. The Ancestral God School might be previously ranked as the top group of power, but regardless of whether or not it is newly established like the Freedom Alliance and the United Forces camp, we from the human camp are now much stronger than them. Luo Feng sneered in his transmitted message. This is why they have to be a step slower. If it were our human race we were talking about, it would have collapsed upon being attacked, with no time to put up any resistance. Of course, the Ancestral God School would rather give up and not take the risk. If we are able to block off the attacks at the beginning, they will stick to the original plan and join us. Primal Chaos City Leader transmitted his message. This is considered quite ideal. After all, they are on our side and certainly do not wish to be trampled upon, or even to be exterminated, when they are here. Getting them to transfer a portion of their Universe Masters into Star Tower. The Ancestral God School has agreed right away. This goes to show that they are still somewhat sincere about helping us. Agreed? Humph. Pengong Master was clearly displeased. You should take a look at who they have sent over. 9 Remoteness Master, Falling Silkworm Master, Sky Beacon Master. Yes, all of them are, indeed, impressive. However, all of these are merely avatars. Those who have come into Star Tower are all avatars. There were only a handful of Universe Masters from the Ancestral God School who had avatars, the majority of them only had their original bodies. Entering Star Tower, their fates are in our hands and under our control, said Primal Chaos City Leader, maintaining a cool composure. They are expressing their sincerity in allowing a group of Universe Masters to come over to Star Tower. This is already quite a considerate move. You still expect them to send over the Universe Masters without multiple bodies? Impossible. These avatars do have godly bodies with strong godly powers, after all, and they carry true treasures with them. If there is no need, there is no way the Ancestral God School would be willing to give up all these. The Freedom Alliance and the Ancestral God School arrived in succession. The Ancestral God School joined the human camp right away, while over 400 Universe Masters from the Freedom Alliance were still occupied with the information of the inheritance. Time went by. Why are they still not making any move? Are we just going to wait here like that? Don't be so anxious. An old voice was heard from amidst the other Universe Supreme Masters. Previously, when the Freedom Alliance had just made its decision, we made a move right away. The Freedom Alliance would not have had time to receive the information of inheritance from the human race yet. This time around, they will want to see the information first before deciding whether or not they will join the human camp. I suppose they must be studying that information now. We must not be rash. The moment we bring forward our attacks, we will be provoking the Freedom Alliance. I'm afraid that making them angry will push them toward the human race. Why? Could it be that old beast God still harbors hope of the Freedom Alliance joining our side? Such slim hope. But if we make a move now, the Freedom Alliance will definitely help the humans. then we are destined to fail in this war. On the contrary, if we postpone the attack, there may be a chance of a favorable turn of events. Let's wait and see. Although the United Forces camp was studying the situation carefully, no matter what, they came to realize that if the Freedom Alliance and the human camp really combined forces, the chances of the United Forces camp winning this war were extremely slim. The United Forces camp was waiting. The humans were also waiting. Amidst the void space, there was dead silence. The United Forces camp had 11 Palace True Treasures, the Freedom Alliance had 6 Palace True Treasures, the Ancestral God School had Ancestral God Altar, and the humans had Star Tower. The number of Universe Master gathered in this space was as many as 1,000, and the number of Universe Supreme Masters had exceeded 10. This was as good as saying that out of all the top-tier combat powers in the Primal Universe, 90% were now gathered in this very place. Every one of them had the power to crush and destroy a part of space and time with a flick of his finger. Every one of them could easily establish a strong and powerful race. And at that very moment, all of them were gathered in the same place. This war would surely affect the distribution of power within the Primal Universe for a period as long as hundreds of millions of eras. I'm done. I've finished it. I'm done looking through it, too. 6 Palace True Treasures of the Freedom Alliance stayed close to one another, which brought about an upsurge of godly power. They were transmitting voice messages to one another via this upsurge, not through the virtual universe. A voice, which sounded a bit cold, was transmitted. Now, all the Universe Masters of my Freedom Alliance have seen the information of inheritance. Everyone, tell me how you feel. This information of inheritance. How do you feel about it? It's quite all right. Not too bad. It can be considered as slightly informative. Very normal. This is the information of inheritance from the Pulse of Du and Dong River on how to become a Universe Supreme Master? So brief and simple? It is too brief. Various opinions were voiced. Over 400 Universe Masters were transmitting information to one another. The strange thing was, over 400 Universe Masters were transmitting voices to one another via their godly powers and exchanging information with one another, but none was communicating or exchanging information with Shahua Island leader. Everyone, make your decision, that cold voice continued. To choose to join the human camp, or to choose to support me. Lightwalker Master, do you even need to ask? Of course, I choose to support you. I choose to support you too. Ha ha. Everyone should already know the correct choice. Lightwalker Master, the role of Alliance Master of the Freedom Alliance should be yours to claim. Of course, you also have to fulfill your promise. Lightwalker Master, if you fulfill your promise, of course, you will have all our support. We will support you. Various voices spoke up, yet all these Universe Masters were of one mind. There was no exception to their decision to support Lightwalker Master. Fine. Then we shall follow the second plan that we originally devised. Lightwalker Master transmitted his decision. We shall continue to submit requests to the humans to demand more detailed and more plentiful information on the inheritance. If they are willing to provide information that prevails over the information I provided you all with, then we can continue to join the human camp. If they provide something that is inferior to what I provided, then the human camp is not worthy of our support. Okay. We'll follow this plan. The Universe Masters from the Freedom Alliance all agreed to the plan. They had talked about it before, and this plan was based on the common interests of all the Universe Masters in the Freedom Alliance. Certainly, they wouldn't object to it. After all, an alliance formed upon common interests was the most stable. In a beautiful palace on an independent dimension of the virtual universe, Luo Feng, Primal Chaos City Leader, Darkness Master, and Peng Gong Master were looking at the 6 Universe Masters sitting opposite to them, waiting for an answer. The Universe Masters from our alliance, said an 8-armed man who was wearing silver armor with a pair of silver horns. His eyes gleamed with golden light. They'll be represented by us. The 4 human representatives were shocked. Shahua Island leader, who was one of the 6 representatives, was dazed. He turned around and looked at the leaders from other divisions. That's right. Yes, Lightwalker Master will represent us. Agreed. Shahua Island leader was upset. His original body immediately transmitted his voice to ask the Universe Masters from his division. Actually, he noticed that the 400-some Universe Masters were transmitting their voices with each other using their godly power, as he could sense their blurry godly power. However, those Universe Masters didn't transmit their voices to him, and besides, transmitting voices using godly power was fast, so they reached a consensus in a few seconds. Although he was confused, he didn't raise any more questions. Yet Lightwalker Master told the humans that he would be in charge. Brother Shahua, we all agree that Lightwalker Master will represent us. Island leader. Don't blame us, Shahua. It has everything to do with our interests. We'll explain everything to you after the negotiation. Shahua Master was deeply upset after hearing what his universe masters said. However, he couldn't do anything about it. After all, those universe masters were the reason for his position in the Freedom Alliance, and they were closest to him. He couldn't be tyrannical to universe masters, instead, he had to treat them as brothers. The 4 human universe masters looked at each other and noticed that the other 5 leaders, including Shahua Island leader, didn't object. It seemed that the Freedom Alliance was indeed represented by Lightwalker Master. Lightwalker Master? Primal Chaos City leader smiled. Please. We've already read the inheritance information you gave us. Lightwalker Master glanced with his golden eyes, and his voice sounded cold. Unfortunately, we're not satisfied. Huh? Primal Chaos City leader, Luo Feng, Darkness Master, and Pengong Master were all shocked. Not satisfied? Luo Feng frowned. This was the information he himself had summarized, and it was definitely tempting to all the powers from all 3 universe eras. How could they not be satisfied? What do you mean, Lightwalker Master? Primal Chaos City leader asked, frowning. The inheritance information you gave us is not worth the risk. Lightwalker Master's golden eyes were cold. If you want my alliance to help you, be more sincere. Give us more information, more comprehensive information. More comprehensive? The 4 human great beings made eye contact with each other and started to converse secretly. Darkness Master transmitted his voice, the Freedom Alliance is indeed greedy. They are certain that we need their help, so they are more demanding. That's right, said Pengong, transmitting his voice. There will be no end to their greed. If we give them more detailed inheritance information, they'll think we have more, and they'll keep asking for more. Luo Feng, said Primal Chaos City leader, transmitted his voice. Do you think we've given them enough information? Yes, said Luo Feng. Even if we give them more, they'll ask us for more, said Darkness, and Pengong agreed as well. The humans looked at the 6 leaders from Freedom Alliance. Primal Chaos City leader said, this is the most detailed information we humans can give to you. If you want more detailed information, sorry. We don't have that. If your alliance wants to help us, we'll give you the other half of the inheritance after the war. Lightwalker Master frowned. Are you sure you don't have more? No more. Primal Chaos City leader shook his head. Luo Feng looked at them, frowning. It was indeed disappointing that the Freedom Alliance would try to exploit them at such a crucial moment. If that's the case. Lightwalker Master turned his head and looked at the other leaders, who nodded. Lightwalker Master stood up, followed by the other 4 leaders and Shahua Island leader. The information you gave us is too simple for us to risk it for you. Sorry. Lightwalker Master stood up and said coldly, let's go. They all disappeared and left the virtual universe, including the other universe masters from the Freedom Alliance outside the palace, who had also been listening to the negotiation. Don't they want the remaining part of the inheritance? Pengong Master stood up abruptly and looked confused. Why? Darkness Master found it hard to believe. Luo Feng and Primal Chaos City leader stood up as well. Something happened. Primal Chaos City leader frowned. Why would they just leave like this? After all, they've only got the former part of the information, and some of the most important points are in the latter part. Don't they want to be Universe Supreme Masters? Why did they just give up like that? Darkness Master looked at Shahua Island leader. What happened, Shahua? Shahua, this isn't what we talked about, Luo Feng added. Shahua Island leader was the only one left in the palace, and he didn't look well. He said, just wait for a moment. I'll tell you what happened later. In the Supreme True Treasure Palace belonging to Shahua Island leader. Shahua Island leader looked at the Universe Masters present. They were all Universe Masters he was close to, and they were the reason he had the right to be in the Freedom Alliance. What happened, everyone? Shahua, a giant, green rock being. We're indeed friends, but all of us want to be powerful. When we become more powerful, we'll have a higher status in the original universe, especially if we can become Universe Supreme Masters and have our own miniature universes. Our races will have a place to live. Don't blame us. What exactly happened? Yelled Shahua Island leader. "This is what happened," said a seaweed-like plant life form. His voice echoed in the surrounding space. "Both humans and the United Forces Alliance tried to draw us to their sides. As soon as there was a dispute among the universe masters in our alliance, Juhua, true god from Purple Moon Holy Land, contacted Lightwalker Master. Purple Moon Ancestor is willing to provide us with inheritance information from the ancient civilization on how to become Universe Supreme Masters from Universe Masters. They'll provide detailed information to us, and they said if the information the humans gave us was better, we could still help the humans. Otherwise, they require us to join the United Forces Alliance and attack the humans, especially that Luo Feng." That's what happened. Lightwalker Master is the middleman between Purple Moon Holy Land and us. He contacted us one by one and gave us the inheritance information. We've already got most of the inheritance information, and it's 10 times more detailed than the information the humans gave us. What the humans gave us is nothing compared to that. Tell us, Shahua, what should we do? Tell us. They all looked at Shahua Island leader. Shahua Island Master squeezed a smile out of his face, a helpless smile. "I can't blame anyone," he said. Shahua Island leader sighed. He had planned to get the inheritance information on how to reach the limit of a Universe Supreme Master for himself, but he hadn't expected Purple Moon Holy Land to meddle. Speaking of being mysterious, the Eastern Emperor Holy Land and Purple Moon Holy Land were, indeed, mysterious, and nobody knew what kind of ancient inheritance they had received. It was natural for them to give out some of the inheritance. We want survival and power more than anything. The inheritance information given by Purple Moon Holy Land is wonderful. Plus, Purple Moon Holy Land won't fight for territories against us in the future, yet if the humans become stronger, it will be a threat to us. Besides, we'll be at an advantage if we join the United Forces Alliance. No matter what, the present, the future, and the benefits we receive, we made the right choice. I think you can understand, Shahua." All the Universe Masters looked at Shahua Island leader. Shahua Island leader sighed. "Did Purple Moon Holy Land mention me?" "We mentioned you before," said the plant life form. "However, Purple Moon Holy Land didn't want to give the inheritance information on how to become Limit Universe Supreme Masters, so we didn't tell you that in case something happened." Shahua Island leader forced another smile. "It seems you already knew about it." "This was one of our plans," answered the plant life form. "For what it's worth, our plan is for the common interests of all the Universe Masters in the Freedom Alliance." In the Palace of the Virtual Universe, Luo Feng, Pengong Master, Darkness Master, and Primal Chaos City Leader were still baffled. "If they still want the inheritance information, they won't give up," said Primal Chaos City Leader. The Freedom Alliance was formed not only to tackle this difficult situation but also to gain enough power to reap benefits. Don't they want to become Universe Supreme Masters? Don't they want to get inheritance information? That's right. Luo Feng and the other three were waiting. Shahua Island leader sat there with his eyes closed for a long time before he opened them again. Luo Feng and the other three were shocked. They were powerful enough to infer something from the expression on Shahua Island leader's face. He looked helpless now. The Freedom Alliance decided to join the United Forces Alliance. Shahua Island shocked them all with his first sentence. Luo Feng and the other four looked forlorn, as they knew things would now become difficult for them. "Impossible," yelled Luo Feng. "It's impossible that they gave up inheritance information. What if they already have information that is 10 times more detailed?" Shahua Island leader looked at Luo Feng. "What?" Luo Feng was dazed. 10 times? In Universe Ocean, the first Universe Era, the second Universe Era, and the original Universe Era, none of the powers could get such detailed information except the humans. Perhaps only the two Holy Lands had it. There was the possibility that the Holy Lands had meddled in the situation. However, the two Holy Lands were outside the power struggle, and they didn't have any conflicts with humans. Why would they even meddle? It's Purple Moon Holy Land. Shahua Island leader sighed. Purple Moon Holy Land gave the Freedom Alliance information in exchange for dealing with the humans. Especially you, Luo Feng. Me? Luo Feng opened his eyes wide while Primal Chaos City Leader, Darkness Master, and Pengong Master looked at Luo Feng. Purple Moon Holy Land? Luo Feng found it hard to believe. Purple Moon Holy Land? He hadn't been in Universe Ocean for a long time, and the only enemy he had made was the Divine Eye clan, yet the two Holy Lands weren't his enemies. They must have had some unpleasant encounters with Eastern Emperor Holy Land. However, Purple Moon Holy Land fought for the inheritance just like all the other powers in Universe Ocean, but they didn't try their best. Eastern Emperor occupied the most important and the most central area, trying to take Boat of Mausoleum by force. On the other hand, powers like Purple Moon Holy Land all waited outside, and they didn't contact Luo Feng during the fight. Neither did they try to make a deal with him. They didn't try to negotiate with me, and it's been outside the power struggle all the time. Why did they? Luo Feng immediately held grudges against Purple Moon Holy Land. How could he not? The humans had been in a wonderful situation before, yet with Purple Moon Holy Land meddling, it was in danger now. I have several bodies, Boat of Mausoleum, and Star Tower, thought Luo Feng. That Purple Moon ancestor should understand that no matter how horrifying the battle is, I'll survive. If he wants to force me to give out the inheritance, it'll be impossible. Why is he against me and humans? Besides, if he really wants the inheritance, he should at least try to negotiate with me. Luo Feng was speculating. Purple Moon Holy Land. They didn't seem to care much about the inheritance from Duandong River, especially Purple Moon Ancestor. He didn't seem to desire the Duandong River inheritance very much. Why was he against Luo Feng and the humans? It was baffling, and Luo Feng felt that Purple Moon Ancestor must have some other purpose. What does this Purple Moon Ancestor want? He's willing to give the inheritance information from ancient civilization to the Freedom Alliance for them to gang up on me and the humans? Luo Feng sensed that there must be many factors unknown to him. Inside the palace, after Shihua Island leader finished talking, he said, I failed you this time. However, since I obtained some information from you, I won't do anything during this battle. He left after he finished speaking. Luo Feng, Darkness Master, Primal Chaos City Leader, and Peng Gong watched him leave without stopping him. They understood that if they gave Shihua Island leader the information on how to become Limit Universe Supreme Masters, he might actually help the humans. However, one Universe Supreme Master couldn't change anything. Otherwise, they would have used that to draw Supreme Masters to their side a long time ago. Prepare for the war, said Primal Chaos City Leader. Okay. Luo Feng, Peng Gong Master, and Darkness Master nodded with solemn faces. Inside the Palace of the Freedom Alliance, controlled by Shihua Island leader. Shihua, we wronged you this time. We hope you understand. Brother Shihua, Lightwalker Master brought each of the Universe Masters lots of benefits, which is why we followed him this time. Once the war is over and we get the inheritance, Lightwalker won't have any power to command us anymore. The Alliance leader of the Freedom Alliance is you. That's right. We support you, Shihua. The Universe Masters on the division of Shihua Island leader kept consoling him, as they knew he was deeply upset. All right, I understand your reasoning. You didn't do the wrong thing. Shihua Island leader looked around, and he saw the exit of the palace. He couldn't help sighing. Although these Universe Masters were in his division, they weren't his slaves, which was why they all stayed at the exit to prevent him from going to the humans and turning them over to the humans. They were all at the exit. Once they all utilized their power, and with lots of them having multiple bodies, they could rival 8 or 9 Universe Supreme Masters and burst out of the palace. Shihua Island leader transmitted his voice. Prepare for the battle. Even though his plan had failed, he didn't want to antagonize them. After all, there were many divisions in the Freedom Alliance, and no powers were willing to bow to another. Nobody could control everyone. He was leading a division and was the only Universe Supreme Master, so other powers were convinced of his reputation. Besides, the other Universe Masters followed Lightwalker Master because he had the inheritance information given by Purple Moon Ancestor. Once they had the inheritance information, they wouldn't follow Lightwalker Master anymore. After all, many Universe Masters were actually foes of Lightwalker Master. Ha ha ha. Prison Race Devil Ancestor guffawed. I can't believe the humans are so stupid that they even wrong you, Freedom Alliance. Once your alliance cooperates with us, we'll have more than 800 Universe Masters and more than 10 Universe Supreme Masters, accounting for almost 80% of the top powers in the original universe. Those humans are not our match. They'll definitely lose. That's right, they'll lose. They are nobody. If we attack them all at once, they'll be crushed and lots of Universe Masters will die. The United Forces Alliance and the Freedom Alliance got close to each other and transmitted their voices using their godly power. They were all cheerful and confident, of course. More than 800 Universe Masters and more than 10 Universe Supreme Masters. Nobody could resist such a power in the original universe. Those cowards from the human race. They hide in Star Tower, and we can't hurt them. Encircle them. Encircle Star Tower. That's right, encircle. Encircle Star Tower completely. Once they exit Star Tower, we'll attack them. They won't be able to resist our attacks. Unless they hide in Star Tower forever. If they want to hide in Star Tower forever, we'll encircle and suppress them forever. We only need 1/3 of the Universe Masters and Universe Supreme Masters to guard this place. Then they won't have any power to fight back, and we can take this chance to rob the human territory. Without their territory and trapped forever. Unless they go back to the primal universe. However, without the resources from the original universe, the humans won't have a future, so they'll be a threat no more. In the towering 9-story Star Tower, the true treasure palaces from the United Forces Alliance and the Freedom Alliance floated and started to move. They surrounded Star Tower like a giant oval with Star Tower at the center, enveloping it entirely. More than 800 Universe Masters and more than 10 Universe Supreme Masters. The Universe Masters and the 3 Ancestral Gods from the Ancestral God School were all terrified. Such terrific power. The humans don't even stand a chance. They were all panicking. Don't panic, the old Ancestral God growled. Even though we of the Ancestral God School want to help the humans, we'll be attacked by the hundreds of Universe Masters if we appear from Ancestral God Altar. Many of us will die. We must stay in Ancestral God Altar and defend ourselves. As long as we stay in Ancestral God Altar, all the material attacks can be neutralized. With the 3 of us combined, along with the help of the mind of the original universe, any soul attacks can be defended by our blurry godly power. That's right. We don't need to worry about our safety, but we can't help the humans. I think the humans will understand why we do this. The 3 Ancestral Gods and the Universe Masters made up their minds immediately. They all hid in Ancestral God Altar and didn't appear. Saving their lives was their top priority. After all, it was an alliance of more than 800 Universe Masters and more than 10 Universe Supreme Masters. Who dared to resist that? Everyone in Star Tower was worried. The 100+ Universe Masters staying in Star Tower could see those true treasure palaces surrounding them clearly, as their view outside was unobstructed. Surrender, humans! Give us the inheritance from the ancient civilization. The inheritance to evolve from Universe Masters to limit Universe Supreme Masters, give it all to us. Once we confirm it, we'll retreat. Otherwise, you humans won't be able to thrive in the original universe anymore. The human territory won't belong to you anymore. Give us the inheritance. Give us the inheritance. The voices spread into Star Tower. The 100+ Universe Masters in Star Tower, especially Universe Masters of other races, all panicked. Primal Chaos City Leader, Luo Feng, Darkness Master, Peng Gong Master, Longyang Master, Huang Jian Master. All the Universe Masters looked around and realized that even if they gave a strict order, those Universe Masters of other races wouldn't make attacks at the exit. After all, they wouldn't be willing to die. They seek to force us to give out the inheritance? Primal Chaos City Leader looked cold. Only in their dreams. Luo Feng stared outside as well. These races all regarded the humans as a huge threat, but once the humans gave out the inheritance, the bug race, the demon race, the automaton race, and the others would grow more powerful as well, which meant the humans wouldn't be a threat to them in the future, even if they were stronger. The other races had 2 choices. 1, they could receive the inheritance and retreat. Or 2, they could knock the humans out of the original universe. Both choices were acceptable to the United Forces Alliance. Luo Feng. Primal Chaos City Leader looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng. Darkness Master looked to Luo Feng as well. Milky Way, added Peng Gong. All the human Universe Masters looked to Luo Feng. They already knew the plan, and they also understood how strong it was. However, under the current circumstances, only Luo Feng's plan was likely to work. This plan involved a gamble that would risk Luo Feng's life. Luo Feng's eyes glinted coldly. Leave it to me. Be careful, Primal Chaos City Leader said, concerned. Don't worry. Luo Feng looked at all the towering true treasure palaces outside. They want to kill me? Though he sounded relaxed, it was an alliance of more than 800 Universe Masters and more than 10 Universe Supreme Masters. Larger, larger, larger. Luo Feng's power immediately surged. At the same time, the towering Star Tower became larger. 100 billion kilometers tall, a trillion kilometers tall. It kept expanding and growing, and it collided with all the true treasure palaces. This video will end here.